And there's a man, rahmatullahi alayhi, Refaat Alareer. I don't know how many people know about him. Wallahi, Shaykh Yasir, I'm going to bring up a Wikipedia page about this man, rahmatullahi alayhi, who was targeted by the Israeli IGF to be killed because they saw him as a threat. And this man is not a combatant. He's an intellectual. And those of us who have heard about him, he was a scholar in Shakespearean works. And this is a picture of him that they have here. He was a prominent writer, poet, professor, and an activist from the Gaza Strip. He grew up in Gaza. He grew up in this, open air prison in which the Israelis control everything that comes in and out of Gaza. Control all movement. No water can come in without our permission. We don't like you. Just turn it off. No water for you. Food, no food for you. What sort of freedom is that? This is where Refaat, he grew up. He taught literature and creative writing. Okay, let's hear about him. He taught literature and creative writing at the Islamic University of Gaza. He co-founded the organization We Are Not Numbers, just trying to bring attention to Ahl Gaza that they are real people with aspirations like Shaykh Yasir and myself and our children and your family. He was a scholar. He was a man who gave his life for literacy, to get people to think on a higher level. And he was a poet. And he was targeted by the Israelis. They told him, we are going to kill you. He hasn't done anything. But they knew that his voice was a threat. So he was actually taking refuge in a school, and he received a call on his cell phone from the Israelis saying, we will bomb that school if you are there. This miskeen, with his wife and children. Where does he go? He doesn't want to put other lives in danger. So he goes to his sister's home, goes to the home of his sister, where he is murdered and killed there. Why? Because he doesn't want to sacrifice the lives of the Palestinians. And he wrote a poem. And I want to bring this up, Sajjad, this poem he wrote a while back, and I just found it being recited by Brian Cox, who I think is a Scottish actor. Many people have seen him, and the Scottish people are feeling the pain of the Palestinians. And I want us to hear the words of Refaat on the tongue of the Scottish actor. This is the Brian Cox, yep.
By Refaat Alareer, November the 1st, 2023. If I must die, you must live to tell my story, to sell my things, to buy a piece of cloth and some strings. Make it white with a long tail, so that a child somewhere in Gaza, while looking heaven in the eye, awaiting his dad who left in a blaze and bid no one farewell, not even to his flesh, not even to himself, sees the kite, my kite you made, flying up above, and thinks for a moment an angel is there, bringing back love. If I must die, let it bring hope. Let it be a tale.
You know, Shaykh Yasir, when I watch this, wallahi, and I'm going to bring up a video of Refaat. This is just before his death, where he was being interviewed and spoken, and listen to his words. And when I heard his words, well, I broke down. I had a really tough time, because you hear the fear in his voice, but the thiqah at the same time. He's speaking from his sister's home, where he took refuge. And here he is, and just listen to what he says. Listen.
We know that it's very bleak, it's very dark. There's no way out. If there's no water, there is no way out of Gaza. What should we do? Like drown? Like commit mass suicide? Is this what Israel wants? And we're not going to do that. And I was telling some friend the other day that I am an academic. Probably the toughest thing I have at home is an expo marker. But if the Israelis invade, if they charge at us, open door to door to massacre us, I'm going to use that marker, throw it at the Israeli soldiers, even if that is the last thing that I would be able to do. And this is the feeling of everybody. We are helpless. We have nothing to lose.
And you hear the bombs, and they killed him in his home. This man, why? Why? These are the people of Gaza.
Allahu Akbar. Allahu Akbar. Hasbunallah wa ni'mal wakeel. ولا حول ولا قوة إلا بالله إنا لله وإنا إليه راجعون لله ما أخذ ولله ما أعطى وكل شيء عنده بمقدار. Wallahi, I mean, it's just it's gut wrenching to watch, to see, to hear. It's a horrible horror story that we're living through from a dunyawi realm. It's painful to see every single day the suffering, the agony, the helplessness, the absolute senseless murder, the senseless killing, the senseless destruction, the targeting of innocent people evidently and knowingly targeting. And that's why, as Americans, this is something that we should object to and reject from the core of our being. As Americans, it's inconceivable to any right-minded, good conscious American to see this and say, wait, hold on, what's happening? Why are kids carrying kids, dead, deceased kids being carried by other kids? Why are academics, as he said, all he has, the most threatening thing he has is an expo marker. I think he's referring to like a dry erase marker or something. That's the most dangerous thing that he has in his. This is a man of eloquence. I mean, you listen to the poem recited by Brian Cox, written by this Refaat. It's just beautiful, beautiful. This is a man of beauty, a man of eloquence, a man of meaning, and one of the things that this tyrannical regime is hell bent on, it is trying to thin out the intelligentsia, the capable, the thinkers, the academics, the medical professionals, the journalists, thin them out one by one. So that's why, there's never been warfare where these many doctors have been killed, these many journalists have been killed. Journalists have always been a protected class, not in Israel. They have been targeted. And these are war crimes being committed every single day, targeting the thinkers, the philosophers, the academics, the young, super accomplished children who got the highest grades, marks, 99.9, kill them, targeted strikes. The volume, no battle, no field of killing has ever incurred these many deaths of these types of people. Not to say that the death of quote unquote simple Gazans is any less worthwhile. No, of course it's all evil, it's all wrong. But it's an indication of what the project is. Let's break their civilizational capacity that they cannot rebuild. When you have, like, for example, fantasy movies that talk about, okay, we're going to populate some planet in the middle of the solar system. You take agrarians, you take academics, you take this, you take that, you take a sampling so that you can build a civilization. Well, what happens when you're you're thinning out your civilizational capacity? Well, who's going to heal your sick? Who's going to take care? And so it's a striking indication. This death of this man, rahmatullahi alayhi, may Allah's mercy be upon him, is an indication of so many things. We talk about it from the side of our theology and what we see the plan of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and so on, but we also look at it from this civilizational political consideration, like, what is this project? What's happening in Gaza really? And I think it's high time that people are really aware of what this project has been since day one. What has the motivation been? And it's coming out every single day more and more obvious. What people have known for decades, and now it's becoming more and more known to a wider audience of people that, hold on, there is a real desire to ethnically cleanse, to end these people called the Palestinians. When you have Knesset members on boats off of the shore of Gaza, I think yesterday or day before yesterday, talking about where the future settlements will be built in Gaza.
Yeah.
All right, so the project is pretty obvious of what this is all about.
Yeah, and what we're seeing with Refaat and people, all these stories that Shaykh Yasir, you and I have been sharing and commenting on over the past few weeks, is just the beauty of faith being shown against the ugliness and the darkness of a satanic way. People who are willing to live on morality and through morality, even in the most difficult of times, and then another group of people with no moral compass, willing to do and say anything just for an objective of getting a piece of land.